What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise Postgame show presented by Sleeper. Today, the Portland Trail Blazers frustrated me. They lose to Charlotte 109-93. This offense has some issues. We're going to have to talk about it. Thank you guys for joining us on a Saturday afternoon. We got an early game today, and it seemed like the Blazers were not ready to play at 10 a.m. Pacific time here in Charlotte today. I don't know, man. Eric, how are you doing? This game was maybe the most frustrating game of the year for me, although there's been a lot of frustrating games. I'm getting kind of sick and fed up with some of the issues that continue to plague this team that show no signs of getting better. So we're going to break it all down. We're going to vent. Probably going to keep this a little shorter because we keep talking about the same stuff that this team has issues with, and it continues to plague them. What's going on, man? How are you doing? You're muted. You muted yourself.
Pretty good. I like every once in a while having a random morning game like this. Get some natural daylight while we're doing the stream and stuff like that. But I was really excited to see how the Blazers played this Charlotte team on both ends. And you could pretty much tell early in this game that the Blazers were not prepared to play in this one. Charlotte took like 5 threes on their first 2 possessions, it felt like, and were moving the ball around, had a lot of energy, and Portland did not really have much going on, and it just seemed like they were going to have a tough time matching Charlotte's intensity in this one, and that ended up being the case the whole game, unfortunately.
So I just have a question for chat and a question for you. Did you notice how different the offenses were that both these teams ran today?
Yeah.
Did you see the movement that Charlotte had today? Do you see the way they moved players, how they created advantages, how they created good shots all throughout this game? The Blazers played some pretty good defense. Charlotte had some very good offense, ran some very good offense today. Portland on the other side of the floor. Oh my goodness. Some of the decision making throughout basically every game lately just drives me absolutely crazy. And it's gotten to the point where I come on here on the post-game show and I just remember being frustrated about decisions made all throughout the game, and it's kind of a blur. Like, I don't remember specific stuff that happened during this game that I was frustrated with. I just remember being very frustrated with a number of different decisions, and I always remember a few and I point them out, but it's just a constant stream of like, what the hell are we trying to accomplish offensively? What the hell are we doing offensively? You got Toumani Camara in a shooting slump. He's shooting transition, pull-up contested threes for the hell of it. You got Blake Wesley, who can't shoot threes. He's shooting a 3 with 16 on the shot clock with a hand in his face, and he airballs. I mean, Young Hansen at the end of the game airballed so bad that I think if you move the ball one ball width closer to the rim, it still would have been an airball. I mean, that was garbage time, but that was just funny at that point. But just some of the decision-making throughout this game and just the lack of freaking structure. They don't run any sets. They don't run any offense. And you can just see such a vast difference between what Charlotte runs and what this Blazer team runs. Their offense is amateurish. Their offense looks amateurish, and it looked completely amateurish today. Now, yeah, they missed threes. Yeah, okay, sure, but when you don't have good shooters, number one, and number two, when you shoot bad threes, you're going to miss a lot of threes. I'm not expecting Toumani in a slump right now to make a transition pull-up 3 without passing the ball. That's a terrible shot. They don't work for good shots enough. They were actually having some success attacking the rim in the first half, but I believe they shot 38 3-point attempts to 34 2-point attempts at one point in this game. Somebody tweeted about that. Shout out to whoever that was. And they were much more efficient from 2 than they were from 3 because they were absolutely abysmal from 3 for the second night in a row. You got Clingan out there who's enough of a 3-point shooting threat that he's dragging the opposing big away from the rim. That should be something that you can routinely take advantage of. You have that extra space, but this team settles and they don't work for higher quality shots. You can get a Toumani Camara contested 3 whenever you want in a possession. You can get it if there's 4 seconds left on the freaking shot clock. So why are we shooting it when he's not shooting the ball well with 15 on the shot clock, and this just goes back to the lack of discipline that this entire offense and the players have. They have no discipline on offense, where basically anybody seemingly can shoot any shot they want at any time within the 24-second shot clock. Blake Wesley can't shoot threes? Oh, go ahead, sure. Contested pull-up with 15 on the clock. Toumani Camara's bricking threes? Sure. Pull-up in transition. Like, I've talked about this. There's no structure to this offense. The roles aren't defined well enough for these offensive players, and the decision-making is not being held accountable by this coaching staff. It's a complete failure from the coaching staff offensively this season, and this is just another example as to everything that we've been talking about all season long with how this offense is not coached well enough, and it's freaking frustrating to watch. It's one thing to lose a game where, there's back and forth and it was good basketball being played. It's frustrating to me to watch this offense, and it's not good basketball at all. It's not good basketball at all. It's disgusting to watch, and it's extremely frustrating. And I'm getting very close to I'm at my wit's end with this offense and what they try and do. Well, I don't even know what they try and do. They don't really try and do anything productive. They jack up a bunch of threes. They can't shoot. They still jack up a bunch of threes. They don't move. They don't do much of anything. It's a lot of iso ball. It's a lot of handoffs. And it's a freaking joke.
Yeah, to what you were saying earlier at the beginning of that, there's usually a few plays in every game where I'm like, okay, I want to talk about this play specifically. And in this game, it just kept adding up to the point where, like, I don't even remember 10 plays ago when I wanted to talk about that, because now I want to talk about this. But I still want to mention that one. But I'm not going to be able to remember all these plays. But my theme of this game, why do our role players take bad threes? It's every single one of them. Chris Murray takes a bad contested three earlier in this game. City Sissoko comes in, drives on his first possession, misses a lay-in, and then takes a contested 2 feet behind the three-point shot, right after that. Thibault comes in and shoots a contested three. Now, he was pretty good outside of that, so I'm not saying that he had a bad game or anything.
Yeah, second half he provided a spark. But
Toumani took some terrible threes, like you mentioned. Drew took some terrible threes.
Dude.
and he hasn't been shooting well. Scoot comes in, shoots a bunch of threes, can't hit any. It was just dude, why are people who aren't good three-point shooters shooting? And these were all shots with plenty of time. It wasn't grenade ones where they had to shoot. It's that can't be your offense. And then I just happened to catch Tiago before we went live, and on the other end, he seemed to think that they played the three-point shot really well, and that the Hornets just made some shots. But it's just, yeah.
I don't know about that one.
And but yeah, it's just, I mean, I guess they couldn't connect on lobs either this game, so that wasn't working either. They had several opportunities, but the turnovers too. On top of that, Tori, they got their sixth turnover the first possession into the second quarter. So basically, well, they had 5 in the first quarter, basically 6, and that's on pace for 20 plus turnovers again. And I don't know how much they finished with because. Look it up real quick.
They cleaned it up.
Yeah, they cleaned it up a little bit, but they ended up with 17, I guess. So they played
that
better
shouldn't be a known lead.
But you come out of halftime, right? You already have a bunch of turnovers, and in the first half, and then you, I think it was 2 out of their first 3 possessions in the second half, or 2 out of 4, they turned the ball over to start the second half, and it's you can't get back into these games taking horrible shots and turning the ball over. And then Drew had a possession at the end of the third once again where he just dribbles and loses the ball to his defender, so we don't even get a shot there. It's just really just really unfocused and undisciplined basketball. And you cannot play a free-flowing, non-structured offense if players don't know how to play in it. And it's I don't know. It's just like you have to be very – it's weird because you would think a set offense is more disciplined, but you have to be more focused and like you have to have a better basketball IQ to play this free-flowing offense. And honestly, I don't think our team has that right now. And so it's kind of frustrating that they continue to run an offense that they don't have the personnel to run.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This offense was completely carried by Denny Avdia earlier in the season, where he created so much offense and made things so much easier on everybody else on the floor that without him, nobody knows what the hell to do. Nobody knows what the hell to do.
We got pretty lucky that he played most of the season up until last few weeks.
Yeah, but it was basically like Denny's our offense, and then everything like flows off of him. And without Denny, it's like Drew is the creator. Drew's trying to play the Denny role essentially, and I mean he was 9 for 16 today. He was solid today. He was maybe our best player today. You know, it's funny to see people on Twitter saying he played like complete ass in this game. It's like, dude, he finished with what, 25 points, was 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 8 from 3, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. Like, yeah, I would like for that to be 2 turnovers instead of 4 turnovers. But I mean, on the same side of things, it's like, we'll say Brandon Miller played well. He had 26 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, 9 for 19 from the field, 6 for 12 from 3. Like, yeah, so it's a little funny to me to see Drew hate because Drew was the one guy that could do anything offensively. The rest is just a bunch of guys that have no role offensively. I mean, what's Chris Murray's role offensively? His role offensively is to, like, hopefully do something. And to sit in the corner and brick threes. He's 2 for 11 since coming back. He's under 20% since coming back from injury. He's 25% on the season. What is his offensive role? What is Toumani's offensive role? Toumani's offensive role is to shoot transition, pull up threes. That makes no freaking sense. Like, if we had this coaching staff with the Blazers team that had Mo Harkless and Alfred Gamina, would Mo Harkless's role have been to shoot transition, pull up threes? You know, Grant, you know, make threes, attack closeouts, like get to the rim. And he was fine today. He was 9 for 18, right? 3 turnovers, though. Would like to clean that up. But you just look across the board. Like, what is Sidi Sissoko's role offensively? What is Blake Wesley's role offensively? Does he know? Because his role offensively is not to shoot threes. And he was 0 for 2 from 3 today, 1 for 3 from the field in 11 minutes, and shot that awful transition pull-up 3. Scoot's role offensively is supposed to be as a creator, but I mean, right now he can't buy a 3-point shot. We'll talk about that. Thibel's offensive role, I mean, I guess it's a spot-up shooter, although he's not somebody I don't think you can consistently rely on. Krejci has a defined role as your shooter, but unfortunately today could not buy a bucket. You just have a lot of gray area, I feel like, within this offense, within these roles, and then players just make awful decisions. It's like, dude, as a player, you got to know when you have it going and when you don't. You got to play to your strengths, and they shoot so many bad freaking threes, and then they sit here like, you know, they just couldn't buy shots. You know, we start over 14. We're just missing shots. Like, this just happens sometimes, and it's like, no, it happens to you a lot. It happens to you more than any other team in the league because you are the worst three-point shooting team in the league, but take some of the highest volume of threes in the entire league. So not only do you suck at shooting threes, you shoot a lot of them, which is insane to me because one of your best shooters the last month has been your 7'2" big who's routinely drawing the opposing big man out of the paint. And you suck at shooting, but you're supposed to be a team that can play downhill at the rim, and he's drawing the rim protector away from the rim, so you have space and chances to attack. And you're out here. You start 0 for 14 from 3, but you're still settling for 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. And it's so dumb to me. It's just not well thought out offense, and it's just players. I put a lot of blame on this coaching staff, but it's also just guys settling, guys not playing smart offense. I mean, one of the plays in this game isn't even like a half-court set. It's Toumani Camara's inbound after they make a bucket where he just lazily flicks the ball inbounds right to Concession. Like, there's just so much stupid stuff that happens over the entire game, and it's baffling to me that these are NBA players sometimes playing out there because of the stupidity that we see on the floor, man. Like, I'm sorry, I know that's strong language, but when you inbound the ball and just flick it right to the defender because you're not focused, because you're not paying attention, that's a stupid play. And I will call that a stupid play. And you should also realize that that's a stupid freaking play. Got to start playing smarter. Got to start taking care of the ball. We say they only turned over the ball 17 times today because on the season they average more than that. But every other team in the league averages less than that. The Blazers average 17.2 turnovers per game. The next worst team is 15.9 turnovers per game. We shouldn't be sitting here like, oh, they only turned over the ball 17 times today. It's better than it has been. So it's just freaking disgusting, and it's frustrating because this team has a chance to play their way into the 8th seed. Somehow is only 3 games below 500. You know, you've had Denny turn into an all-star. You've had some good things happen this season, but they continuously shoot themselves in the foot with this god-awful offense and god-awful decision-making.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I know you were frustrated watching this game, and that's the hard part about watching the Blazers sometimes. It's just like they're just shooting themselves in the foot, like that Toumani play you mentioned. There were several turnovers where we didn't hustle back on defense once again. That was a problem in previous years. And against a team like the Hornets, if you're missing long threes, or the ball's coming off the rim long and you're turning the ball over early in the game and you're getting the other team right into what they want to do, it's tough. And you know what I thought watching the first quarter of this game? The Hornets are playing right now like the Blazers think they play, and or like talk about how they want to play. And it's actually really fun and cool to watch what a team actually execute what they try to say there are their principles and stuff like that. So I thought this Hornets team was fun to watch, and the Blazers were just extremely maddening to watch because we should be playing the way the Hornets played. That's exactly how this whole coaching staff and front office say they want this or design this team to play like, and we don't play that way. It's just it's crazy to me that we still look this way after how many years of Chauncey and now Tiago saying they want to play a certain style and we don't play that style. It's insane, man.
Well, basically what they've said, the effects of it is basically just going out there saying, we want to move the ball, we want players to move, and we want a bunch of movement, and we want to play random and unpredictable so defenses don't know how to guard us, and the ball should be popping and make quick decisions, and, you know, we're work for good shots. But you can't just sit here and, like, say, oh, we're going to do all those things, and then just roll the ball out there and hope that it all happens. That's essentially what Chauncey's done. That's essentially what Tiago's done this year, and this offense is basically, yeah, they have a lot of ideas of, you know, theoretically what should happen in terms of movement and ball movement and this and that. But in practice, it's completely different when you just roll the ball out there and nobody really knows what they're doing. So you need more structure. You need better off-ball principles with their motion offense because there's too many possessions where guys are just standing around. Nobody sets screens for each other off the ball, and you see the way that Charlotte was flowing and, you know, multiple guys moving at once. I mean, how many times do we see a possession where 2 guys off the ball are, like, legitimately moving? Mm-hmm. I don't think we ever do in the half court, and that's a problem. That's a problem. There's just an utter lack of creativity with the offense, and it's basically just surface-level ideas of what we should be doing without anything behind it to actually help accomplish those ideas. So I'm getting sick and tired of the lack of creativity offensively. I hope Tom Dundon can come in and help find a coach that has some level of creativity offensively. Because, yeah, it helps when you have better players, but at the same time, it's like if you're missing your top two scorers, you should be playing more as a team offensively. You should be working for good shots. It shouldn't be Toumani thinking he's Steph Curry and gonna pull a pull-up transition contested three and drill it all the time when he's in a shooting slump. So I don't know. At least there's new ownership on the horizon. I hope that Dundon isn't the type to just come in here and be like, oh, you guys surpassed your Vegas win total and, you guys had a decent season and you had some injuries. Like, okay, yeah, I'll rehire you. The offense is a major, major, major issue, and it shows no signs of improving. And it's kind of hopeless the rest of the season unless they get Denny back at 100%. So
I look at what, a coach like Lee did tonight against us, and I'll throw Ott in Phoenix in here. Will Hardy in Utah. It's not we need to find that kind of guy who's going to not just talk the talk, but also know how to implement what he wants to do on the court and get the most out of his players. And I was thinking about this. There's a lot of examples of college coaches this year, like Mick Cronin at UCLA, Jerome Tang at Kansas State, of coaches who are just well, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm coaching these guys, and they're just not performing, right? And that kind of thing is crazy to me that coaches get away with that stuff, because if you are a good coach, your players play the way they want you, or the way you want them to play. So the fact that we've now had going on, 4 or 5 plus years now of Chauncey and Tiago saying they want to play a certain way and them not being able to play that way on the court, to me shows that you're not good at teaching or getting your players to play the way you want them to play. And we need to find a guy who can do that. And I think I don't know who that is necessarily. There's some proven guys who have gotten some good statistical jumps from their teams and things like that. But I don't know if it's better to go that route or to just find the next one of those guys I mentioned that are just going to come in here and work tirelessly and find a way to implement their system and get the most out of their players.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the team stats here. It's not a pretty picture. Let me update it. This was a much prettier graphic, but this next one is not going to be as pretty. This is much, much uglier. So the Blazers led 2% of this game. They got ran off the floor. Defensively, they played some defense, but it's something we haven't talked about, dude. The freaking offensive rebounding. Grab the ball. The play that set me off during this game, watching this game, was the play where the ball's trickling to the corner and there's two Blazers there that can grab it, and neither one of them grabs it. And Knipple runs up, grabs it, and saves it.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I wanted to mention that play too. I completely that's one of those plays. I was like, we have to talk about that play.
Yeah.
And then more bad stuff happens, and I completely forgot about that. Yep. But you let their slowest player beat you to the corner, just outwork you. That's just simple outwork right in front of our bench too. Yep. Saves the possession. Brandon Miller hits a freaking three. Yep. You cannot win games with that level of effort, especially against a team like the Hornets that play with that effort.
Yep. Nobody wants to grab a rebound. Nobody wants to help Clingan. There is multiple possessions in this game where Clingan's trying to ward off three guys, and I see people ask why are we such a bad defensive rebounding team when we have one of the best rebounding centers in the entire league that gobbles rebounds? And it's because nobody else does a good job of helping on the boards. There's so many plays where the ball will kind of come off towards Clingan, but he has a couple guys around him, so like he's not able to get a clean board. And you see offensive players, multiple offensive players battling with him to grab the ball, and you see 4 Blazers standing around watching Clingan battle for his life on the defensive glass. And it's just lazy. We can't sit here and have this narrative that this team plays super hard when on the defensive glass they just don't even want to go pursue the ball and then make it so that one guy has to do the majority of the defensive rebound. And yeah, there's plays where a player will step in, get a good defensive board, like I don't know what happened with the free throw percentage there for the Blazers, but that aside, you just don't pursue the ball, and I'm so frustrated of watching Clingan battle for his life on the glass with no help. And then people wonder, like, man, Clingan's a great rebounder. Why can't he rebound the ball? Well, he's battling against multiple guys that either weren't boxed out or they're just pursuing the ball better than us. We don't pursue the ball. Jeremy Grant does a terrible job of it, and it's becoming a major, major issue. I know Grant can score the ball. I know he's an okay defensive player, but his lack of rebounding, his lack of playmaking is an issue, and I kind of would just rather get somebody that can knock down threes and rebound and play the same level of defense, and then try and find, you hope you get that creation elsewhere. But that's another conversation for another day. But you got to grab defensive boards. It's just freaking ridiculous the way they outworked Portland on the offensive glass in this game.
Yep, and Musa is the kind of guy that can provide that spark for you. That's what he's in there to do, and we could not stop him from getting on the offensive boards today. Unfortunately, that was a big difference.
Yep.
James brings up in chat another play I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, go on.
That was early in this game. Donovan Clingan gets a mismatch on Concession in the post, seals him to his front, and I think it was Grant throws a pass over the top. Yeah. Clingan gets an easy bucket. And in the second half, they tried to get Donovan the ball in that same situation on Knipple. I forgot who threw this one, but they throw a low pass right to Knipple. Don't even throw it high, which is stupid. And then I think the play before that, Donovan rolled off the pick and roll and was wide open coming down the left side. And someone airmailed the pass out of bounds. I think that was Grant again. But so they showed they could do it. They can exploit a mismatch, and Donovan took advantage of it. Good pass there. But he had the size advantage other than when obviously when Paul Brenner was in the game, it wasn't quite the size advantage. But in terms of Diabate, that's one of the things you have to take advantage of because he's not like a 7-footer or anything. So he's like a smaller energy big. So I thought they could have exploited that a little more. Donovan didn't really have a great game overall either, but I think it was good to see them actually do it, but where was it the rest of the game? Because that was very early in this game.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't play smart offense. Like it's very unstructured and it's very undisciplined, and it's on both the coaching staff and some of the players. You got a 7'2" big man. I mean, Musa Diabate is 6'9". When you can't do anything offensively, I wish they would just start featuring Clingan more. They
had that nice give and go pass too early in this game.
Yeah.
Uses passing off that too. He doesn't have to make a shot in the post to be effective. Like
you have this good passing 7'2" center that can make threes and is a mismatch problem down low for a lot of teams, and your offense has had these massive lulls, yet you don't run any offense through that player. You don't give him a ball and have cutters off the ball that he can read and throw passes to. You don't post them up. If you don't look to force switches so you can attack mismatches. There's just no thought. There's no thought within the offense. It's kind of just guys trying to get their own, and it's just junk basketball. So 12 for 19 from the free throw line is pretty bad. I mean,
we got Knipple miss. He's like an 89% free throw shooter. He missed 3 in this game, and we still shot worse than them.
Yeah. 17 turnovers, 2 fast break points, by the way. Yeah. So we want to play super fast, but our version of playing super fast is not actually effectively getting out on the break. It's Blake Wesley and Toumani Camara shooting transition threes with a hand in their face. It's just stupid. Anything else jump out here?
I thought we did a pretty good job, other than the obviously offensive rebounds hurt, but the initial action to the basket, we had 6 blocks. I thought we did a pretty good job between Donovan and Rob Will of protecting the rim a bit. But that was one of the only things we did well in this game.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the team stats. I gotta have this conversation because chat's pissing me off. So 3 games ago, all the talk around Scoot Henderson was he looks great. Wow, he's coming back off injury and he looks this good already. And literally like 3 games later, it's I'd take Love over him. He shouldn't be on the team. He shouldn't even be in the NBA. He sucks at basketball and blah, 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 blah. It's fun to have Scoot back, man. It's so much fun to have these conversations back where I have to call out people that just ride the freaking roller coaster all over the place when it comes to him. Yeah, he did not play well today. He didn't play well today. He was 0 for 7 from 3. He's in a massive shooting slump. He's in a 4-game shooting slump. Like, he shot the 3-ball bad the last 4 games. Stop freaking out about a 4-game shooting slump. He's not a consistent shooter, and he's going to need to become a consistent shooter. But he's not a consistent shooter yet. The strong parts of his game should be his creation and the way he can make reads and the way he can get downhill to the rim. I don't think this offense does him, in particular, many favors. Because he's somebody that I think in an offense that flows will have better opportunities to attack and will make the most of those opportunities and then can pass from there. But as I've said with Denny at times, with him driving into traffic because the defense isn't being shifted and the defense is set, it's much tougher on a guy like Scoot Henderson because he's not 6'8" or 6'9" that can drive into traffic and then throw the ball over the top of defenders out of traffic. He's something that he drives into traffic and he gets stuck if the offense is a mess like it has been lately. So, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. He was 3 for 5 inside the arc. Like, had a couple nice drives of this game. The attacking the rim stuff's been fine. I think it can be further tapped into in a better offense. And as I said before the season, I expected him to kind of struggle a little bit his first 20 games and then start to kind of take off. We're talking about a dude who's played, 8 games now? Yeah, the 3-point shot. Yeah, 9. Yeah, going 0 for 7 freaking sucks from 3. I will say I don't think he took a particularly bad 3. At some point I'd like for him to just start attacking when he's this cold from 3. But it's like, how do you shoot yourself out of a slump by taking quality 3s? Like, it's not like he was shooting transition pull-ups with 17 on the clock while going 0 for 7, right? So, yeah, the 3-point shooting was absolutely rough today. It made it just so that he was not productive today. But we got to stop. We got to stop overreacting to 3-game sample sizes, good or bad, with him, because people do it more than probably any other player on this team, and it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can point to really that's been super awesome from Scoot is the finishing at the rim.
Yeah.
But I think I get people's frustration though, because everything else now that his shooting, I mean, whether it's a small sample size or not, that's all we have to go off of this year. And he's unfortunately in a massive slump, and with only 9 games, that's going to make his percentages, sub 40 from the field, despite the good finishing. And then I think it's down to like 24% or something like that from 3 on the season. And so, I mean, I get why people are frustrated. I'm kind of in the middle because, like you mentioned, I do feel like Scoot came out of the gates looking better than I expected him to look coming off of that long of an injury, and especially an injury where you can't really go full speed for several months. So that those always take some time. So I do agree that we should give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But if you're thinking long term, also, there's not that many games left in this season. Scoot's eligible for an extension coming off this season, going into the off season, and then will be in his last year of his rookie deal next year. We've talked in the past about the guard situation. So I also kind of get if people are starting to think that, no matter if it's coaching or the offense or the injuries or what it is, like I do kind of see some people's point that maybe it's looking like he's the odd man out right now, but I still think there's enough time for him to turn it around. And that's the other thing with a small sample size. If you have a couple of good games, those numbers can turn around the other way really quick. So hopefully he has some good games coming up here starting tomorrow, and then he can kind of redirect those percentages back into a positive way.
I'm just tired of the overreactions. It's getting freaking ridiculous. Like, he still has time to improve. He tries to make the right play all the time. Like, he very rarely makes a play where it's like, why is that the decision you made? Like, in this game, Clingan popped and he missed and it was like, damn, Scoot, you're supposed to make that read. But... yeah. He doesn't shoot. His shot selection isn't as bad as a number of other players on this team. I don't think his shot selection is bad at all. He's missing open threes right now, which, yeah, he has to figure that out, but that's like a different issue. That's okay. Can last year he shot 35.4% for 3. So it's like, okay, can he get back to being a pretty much league average shooter, close to league average shooter on these open threes he's getting, because that would help a lot, obviously, right? But he showed last year he can have a season where he knocks down these threes at a 35% plus clip, right? So for me, it's like if he was 28% from 3 his first 2 years and then coming in here shooting like this, then I'd be a lot more worried. Like, man, is he ever going to figure it out from 3? But last season, he showed improvement from 3 and shot a good 3 ball. So I'm going to have some patience with him. It's not even like his misses are that bad. He had a couple shots go halfway down and out today. A couple go back rim. So he's just like barely off on a lot of his misses. That's the sign of a guy that's slumping and will start to figure it out. I talked about that with Donovan when he was missing some threes this year, where it's like the misses are close. It's not like he's all over the place and airballing and this and that, where it's like very inconsistent. He's just barely missing shots. And then he starts making more shots. Like that's the sign that there's a difference between shooting 25% from 3 and all your misses are like in and out close, where it's like you're right there, compared to missing right, missing left, missing long, airballing short, all over the place. So that's where I'm not going to be worried about his 3-point shooting right now, and I think people need to kind of relax. Yes, it absolutely sucks that he's missing threes. Yes, I get frustrated when he has a game like today when he's 0 for 7 from 3, because we need him to knock down threes. but the bigger picture conversations that people immediately try to have are a bit overreactionary and living in the present and not really well thought out. A comment in chat says, Torrey, he was the third pick. We have high expectations for him. Well, you need to adjust your expectations from, oh, he might be a generational point guard to, okay, can he be a high impact player that helps this team win basketball games and maybe one day can become a fringe all-star level player? Like that is where your expectations should lie. Yes, it sucks that he's not a generational point guard, but if you keep holding him to that standard of being a generational point guard, you're always going to be disappointed. He was not a generational level point guard even as a prospect. Like he had some things that were clearly going to hold him back a little bit. So I know he had a lot of hype. People comparing him to Wemby and this and that. Wemby was the only generational prospect in that class. So this is where just people need to, A, readjust their expectations a little bit. B, stop living in the moment so much.
Why did people have to adjust their expectations just because?
I mean, they don't have to. If they want to be pissed off when every game he has because he's not a generational point guard, then sure, go ahead. I'm not going to tell people how to fan, I guess. So yeah, if you want to expect that he's a generational point guard and then get frustrated when he's not a generational point guard, that's fine.
I just think it's fair to expect more from a third pick, and it's unfair to Scoot for sure. But like I do, I mean, you look at some of the other players taken in that draft too, and just think of like, would their impact on this team be different, or would they be struggling like he is? But I do agree that his expectations are different now. But if you would have told anyone at the draft that you're hoping for, I mean, this did happen. Some people compared him to like Marcus Smart and Rajon Rondo and stuff like that, and those were seen as negative comparisons at the time. Now they're almost like positive ones, right? Like,
has Marcus Smart ever shot 35% from three?
I don't know.
I mean, he's a career 32% 3-point shooter. I mean, I just think those are bad comparisons.
I think
he has 1 year. He's had 1 year out of his 12-year career where he shot above 35% from three. Scoot has already had a year he shot above 35% from three. Scoot is a much better passer and decision maker than Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is a former Defensive Player of the Year winner. I don't think Scoot will ever get there. Like, those guys aren't comparable players. I think that's just the reason why that comparison got a lot of hate was just that's kind of like on the low side with him coming in, but also B, it's just a straight up terrible comparison. Like, those aren't similar players at all.
Yep.
But, I mean, it's just a lot of people like comment in chat. He's a 6-foot point guard that shoots 30% from three. He's 6'3" and is shooting 33.6% from three for his career. Yes, we want that to get better, but like, stop misrepresenting stuff. Like, it's just, yeah. The Scoot conversation has always kind of driven me crazy. But Exploit says the convo was Scoot versus Wendy. Y'all, you can't call cap on what the league and media was talking about. I call cap all the time on what the league and media talks about, and I'm often right. Like, dude, they were not comparable prospects. You can see me on lottery day how disappointed I was, even though we moved up, that we didn't get Victor Wembanyama. Okay, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, yes, we never made that comparison for a reason.
Yeah, so there was that game. I think it was actually in the summer, the year prior to the draft, where Scoot and Wemby played each other in like an exhibition game, and Scoot had like a really good game. And I don't think he played this. They played twice, but I don't think Scoot played the second game against them, or if he did, he left the game like early in that one. But Scoot had a really good game, and there was some like, oh, Scoot versus Wemby, that could be the talk. That very quickly went away. It was always Wemby number one. The conversation became, as the season went on and towards the draft, became more Scoot versus Brandon Miller instead of Wemby. And I still think most teams would have taken Scoot over Brandon Miller at 2. So maybe that situation was just a case of one of the few teams that would have taken Brandon Miller at 2 took him. But it certainly was not. Once the draft came close to happening, there was zero conversations about taking Scoot over Wemby at that point. Wemby was like clear cut number 1. Like they already basically had a press conference in San Antonio welcoming him to the Spurs when the lottery happened. There was no discussion of taking anyone else.
This is a fun comment. Talking about 35% for Smart to try and make Scoot sound better when Smart's had a 36% plus year, and now Scoot's never done what he's done. Smart's played for 12 years. Scoot's played for 2. How is that context lost on you, commenter in chat? Scoot went from 32.4% to 35.4% last year. It was 32-something his rookie year. So he's played 2 years. Smart has consistently been a 32 to 33% three-point shooter his entire career. He had 1 year where it was above 35%. Okay? Scoot last year literally shot above 35% from 3, and now he's struggling this year, but it's like I don't understand how to explain the context to you. Like that is literally the context behind that statement. So you can call it stretching things and using semantics, but it's literally a 2-year player versus a 12-year player. And that's literally the context that makes the point that you were just trying to ignore just for whatever reason. So yeah.
I think the problem is we don't know. I mean, Scoot could very easily never shoot 35% again also. So like it's tough to compare or say, oh, because like we're kind of assuming that Scoot will shoot over 35% again, but that's not guaranteed.
Anyway, I'm gonna try not to get like too annoyed. But yeah, I have no idea what you just said. But yeah. Anyway, like Scoot shot 35% from 3 last year. He should not be compared to a player that's A, not a point guard, B, a defensive player of the year winner, C, a guy that has consistently been around 32 to 33% his entire career, where Scoot, A, hasn't even had the sample size to talk about what's been consistent for his career, and B, literally in year 2, which is literally half his career, he shot above 35% from 3, where Marcus Smart in 1 year shot above 36% from 3, but it was 1 out of 12 freaking years. If you can't understand the difference there, then I don't know what to tell you. If you can't understand the context there, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, at the end of the day, people had super high expectations for him, and people that still hold those expectations for him are probably going to be disappointed. The conversation for me has changed from, oh, is he a generational point guard, to, okay, can he be an all-star one day? Can he be a fringe all-star level player? Like, I've readjusted my expectations for a reason. Anyway. Arrow says, I'm tired of how negative this show is getting. I pop in random time, and 90% of the time it's something negative, even when we win. We've talked about a lot of positives this year, but lately the team is not playing well, so yeah, it's going to be negative. We just lost by 16, where we scored 93 points. We average a near historical amount of turnovers per game, and we're the worst three-point shooting team in the league, and the offense doesn't have any structure. I don't know how you want me to gloss that in a positive light. That's literally the reality of what we're seeing. I'm sorry that that's negative, but it's frustrating the hell out of me. It's super, super frustrating. So I'm not going to lie and sit there and be like, hey, man, we just missed shots. We tried, though. When we gave up 20 offensive rebounds as well. We're one of the worst defensive rebounding teams in the league, and we're watching guys beat us to balls because they're hustling and we're not. Like, I don't know what you expect me to come up here and say that's real and truthful and honest that's positive about a game like this.
And we've always said there, if you want the cookie cutter Blazer broadcast type shows, those are out there. There's plenty of them out there for you to enjoy, and that we don't feel offended by wanting that if that's how you like your coverage. But Tori and I aren't ever going to curtail our show to be positive or negative. We don't think about that when we discuss like the show or when we go on the show. Like we're fans. We speak emotionally of how we feel about the team. And I'm sorry that the team itself has presented a mostly negative product for several years, making us lean towards having negative views. But we're not going to come on this show, 75% of the way through the season, in a season where the coaching staff told us they had to do different things on offense. They had to be better. They had to have certain things, told us exactly what those things were. And then we're this far into the season without seeing that stuff transpire on the floor. That needs to be called out. Yeah. And it might not necessarily be Thiago's fault. That might be a little unfair to put this on him since he wasn't the main guy implementing things in training camp and stuff like that. But this team as a whole has done this for several years, talked about what they needed to improve on and then don't. And it's just a case where we're going to call that out and we're going to tell you guys how we feel. And, you can argue that you don't like that or whatever, or you don't like to listen to critiques off a win or something like that. But this is how we approach the game. And you can't argue with, in terms of in the Blazers landscape, the success we've had by being genuine with you guys and saying what's on our mind versus telling me what you want to hear.
Yeah, trust me. It is a challenge to cover this team every game. It is truthfully a challenge to do a post-game show every game for this freaking team. I get more frustrated with some of this stuff because we cover this team and because we have to come on here on a freaking post-game show and talk about how they can't grab a defensive rebound, they can't take care of the ball, they can't make a three, but you got players that can't shoot settling for contested threes early in the shot clock. Like, I don't like talking about this stuff. That's why I get so frustrated that this continues to be an issue. I would love to talk about this team playing good basketball, a good brand of basketball. It freaking frustrates the hell out of me. I got so frustrated watching this game thinking like, oh man, I get to go on a post-game show and talk about the same freaking crap that's not getting better. That sucks. It's been a very tough cover the past 4 years this team has been. And I hear this all the time from Blazer fans. Like, dude, I just can't get invested in the team anymore. Like, I haven't been watching the show. Like, I just, I'll tune in here and there for you guys. But, this team is just, I can't watch this team anymore because it's so frustrating to see the way they play basketball. And it's so frustrating, the lack of progress and this and that. Like, this fan base feels very apathetic. And then you go and even when they were playing well, you go in Moda Center and the biggest cheer you hear all day is when Young Hansen makes a layup at the end of a blowout. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not great. So, yeah.
Did you hear the question Thiago got asked in the postgame?
I heard that he got asked a question about what Young needs to do to get more minutes.
Yeah, someone was like, so Young Hansen's only averaging like 7 minutes or something on the season when he plays. Like, what does he have to do in your mind to get more time on the court or something? It was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you hear, he grabs a rebound and shoots a layup and you hear the broadcast compare him to Jokic?
Yeah. I don't think it's not doing them any favors.
Yeah. He grabbed that rebound with one hand and shot a layup off that. That looked like Jokic. Come on, man. Come on. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, I mean, at the end of our day, our show is we tell you what we see that's going on with the team. We tell you what we think needs to get better, what they need to continue to do well. And then part of it's like we'll put the emotion as fans into the show as well. Like, we're not going to sit here and be monotone. If I'm frustrated about something, you're going to know it. I'm not just going to be here like, man, the turnovers, they really just have to take better care of the ball. The turnovers, they're averaging too many turnovers, Eric. And if I just talk like that the whole time, talking about how many turnovers they commit, the Toumani Camara really made a mistake there when he inbounded the ball to Colin Knipple, and they need to not make as many mistakes, and then maybe if they also make more threes, then maybe they will be in a game like this and maybe have a chance to win basketball games. You guys aren't watching that crap. I mean, you know what I mean? It's and that's I'm an emotional fan. I will admit it. I watched this game and was getting worked up at my freaking television watching the mistakes they were making. Because I want this team to be good. I want them to win basketball games. I want them to be competitive. I want them to play a good brand of basketball. I want this team to be freaking successful. As bad as anybody. And that's why it frustrates me so much. So it comes from a place of wanting this team to be good and getting tired of watching such a bad brand of offensive basketball that's not getting any better. And I hear it from fans like, yeah, they're only 3 games below 500, but dude, I can't even just not invested in this team like I used to be. There's so many Blazer fans like that, and that frustrates me as well. Like, that sucks. And sometimes I sit here and wonder, like, man, would I have watched the second half of this game over Mariners spring training if I didn't cover this team? The fact that I'm asking that question is ridiculous. It's not ridiculous on my part, ridiculous on just kind of the style of basketball. Like, coming out in the first quarter today, I knew it was going to be one of these types of games, and I knew it was going to be something that, oh man, maybe I should go back to sleep. Like, I might have went back to sleep if I didn't cover this team. You know what I mean? Like, would have slept in on my Saturday. And I hate that. There used to be a day where I was like, oh, I can't look away. Every single play, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, Nico hits a shot, I'm clapping in my living room. Good shot, Nico. Good shot. Good shot, Wes. The day moments all throughout. I don't have that at the same level, and I would if this team played good basketball, and that's why it's, they're 3 games below 500, but that's also why it's more frustrating in a game like this. You have a golden opportunity to catch Golden State for the 8th seed and play your way into the playoffs, and you come out and you run a junior varsity, high school junior varsity level offensive system and have the decision-making of a high school freshman team. Like, yeah, it sucks. So,
well, the other thing that's frustrating, Tori, is once again, bad start in this game. We're down 10-4, 25-10, I think, at one point. And it was like, you could see, like, look how much, like, excitement and energy and just enthusiasm the Hornets played with. And then you watch our team and they're just, like, stuck in the mud, like walking around. And that's the other thing about this offense. When you run an offense that's designed about, like, just having guys stand on the 3-point line and that requires one person to break down the defense, it leads to that lack of energy. It leads to, you're not getting into the game right away. You're kind of just standing around getting cold while the other team's flying up and down the court, and it looks like they're completely outworking you, even though they might not be. And I think that's a huge reason for some of these slow starts as well. Just this offense there's nothing that gets the crowd going, or, like, I know this is a road game, but I'm just talking in general. Like, there's nothing that, like, amps up the bench like right away. Oh, we ran. I always like compare it to like a football analogy. And in football, a lot of teams have like a scripted 15 plays or something that they run at the beginning of a game. And like it's not going to be 15 plays, but like, you know, a lot of teams do have like a couple of plays they'll run at the beginning of a game to get the offense going. And it doesn't seem like we do that. Like we just go right into our basic boring offense, hoping something happens. And yeah, I mean, I'm getting kind of tired of watching the same thing happen and the Blazers not fixing it. And you guys can say that's negative, but I mean, we're going on what 7 years of it now, and that's frustrating.
Yeah, I typed this response in chat, but just to kind of wrap up the Scoot conversation, Kenton says Torrey Scoot just needs to play well, and that's all we want. Show improvement. He's done neither. He improved in basically every area last year, and this year I think his on-ball defense and finishing have improved as well. And he's missing threes. Like he has improved. I don't understand why you think he has not improved. He improved his 3-point shot from year one to year two, and now he's in a 4-game shooting slump. Before this 4-game shooting slump, what was he shooting from three? You know, like 38%. So it's like, I'll look at it. So first 5 games, he was 10 for 26 from three. So like just a shade under 40%. So he's had 4 bad shooting games in a row, and now we're gonna just act like over his entire career he hasn't improved at all. This is where I think you guys are being maybe your expectations are a little bit too high, or you're basing too much off of just the fact that he shot a lot of threes and missed a lot of threes the last 4 games, so his shooting numbers look awful and this and that. Like he has improved. So if that's all you want to see, I don't understand like being all that frustrated because he has shown improvement the last 2 years. He was unplayable his rookie year. Like
And people talking in chat about the ownership. And yeah, hopefully a new ownership brings some life into this. A lot of people say, you know, from the top down, it starts with the top, and that kind of like if you get an owner who's enthusiastic about winning and kind of um, feels like the same way we do and asks questions when it's not happening or whatever, then I think that's where things could start to change, hopefully. But we don't know anything about Tom Dundon other than what we can transfer over from what happened with the Carolina hockey team. But overall, this is what I always go back to when people talk about Jody Allen's success with the Seahawks this year, winning a Super Bowl versus like, how could you be a bad owner for the Blazers if they're winning Super Bowls with them? And that is when you have like an owner who doesn't ask those questions and lets the team do what they want for the most part. I mean, Seattle is showing they have much more capable guys in those positions to succeed and handle that situation. Whereas we just have people, it feels like, that aren't like Jody's not going to come in and ask like, so your coaching staff said they were going to fix this offense this offseason. When is that going to come? Or like, what do we need to make a change to the coaching staff or whatnot? She's not going to come in and do that. Whereas the hope is a new owner would start to at least hold people accountable for that kind of stuff.
agreed. Do you want to read off the donations?
Yeah, real quick before I do that, I also, for those of you who watch the Blazers broadcast, I know we had this conversation a couple weeks ago before the All-Star break, Tori, but them now pushing that commercial to go support the Moda Center thing. I don't know. It's just I know I'm in the minority here with that, but it's just like I said, get it done. We understand, but you're asking us to support us paying for like billionaires to keep a team here. Like it's still it still rubs me the wrong way that now they're playing commercials for it too.
How much economic impact in terms of dollars do the Blazers have every year?
I mean, it's got to be a lot.
I think it might be more than the renovations themselves. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
like
But that doesn't mean we deserve to have our team ripped away because uh, a billionaire wants more money. I don't know.
well, the state needs to step up, and the state needs to step up and fund the $600 million. That brings far more
Well,
economic
it did
value
pass.
to the region.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did pass that. So all that bill was basically a vehicle to fund. Like it wasn't actually funding anything. It was basically allowing them to come up with laws, bills to fund things, and it only went through one of, I believe, 3 rounds of approval. So it's a start. It's a start, but it's not something that, especially with, I think it was like local people voting on it, that was never going to get denied.
Yeah. Well,
So
it sounds like the people, like the mayor and a bunch of other people, are pushing for this to go through. So it
yeah,
seems like the leadership in place
for
wants it to
sure.
happen. So it looks like it's going to happen. I don't
Well,
think they
I
need
think the
people to.
problem. Well, I think the problem is if you go to a state level and you have representatives from across the state voting for this,
Yeah.
like because you're dipping into state funds, that's where it gets a little iffy because somebody representing Pendleton isn't going to care about the Blazers, and it's like, why are you dipping into state funds that Pendleton needs to fund something that doesn't matter to Pendleton, Oregon, like
Yeah.
so that's where stuff gets iffy. Like I think anything that has to be passed locally, I fully expect to get passed. It's just when you get to the state level, I don't really know exactly how that lines up in terms of like votes and this and that. But that's where I think it'd be a bigger deal if something like this passed, like the state level. So
Yeah.
basically, this is just a framework for them to help fund renovations. So this now has to go be voted on by the full state Senate and full House of Representatives. And then it goes to the governor for approval. So that's more interesting if it could get past the state Senate and House of Representatives.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
everything
and
I
then they
read seemed
would
like
work on the
positive.
financing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the local people are gonna say positive stuff. It's just
Yeah.
what happens when you get to the state level. Yeah.
All right. So Tristan had a member message, says, I'm really, really sick of Toumani Camara basketball. Yeah. He has not played well coming out of the All-Star break.
He forces too many threes. He shoots too many threes, man.
Yep. And the ball sticking when he gets the ball in the corners. Like, if he doesn't shoot a three, he's like just holding it for a while. Man, it's also frustrating because he's been really good when he's cut to the basket this year, and it's just happened so infrequently that I just got to question why that is.
Yeah.
Tay plays 399 with a $5 donation. Says, I think Tom should just clean house. Also, am I the only one who thinks that Moda is fine and all the upgrades are aesthetics?
I mean, even if it is all aesthetics, A, it's what Tom wants. B, if it's a better place to be aesthetically, then more people will show up to games. Like, especially with what you've seen the past 4 years, like a new owner coming in wants it to be like a place to be, even if you're not a basketball fan, even if the team's bad, like a place you want to be in general. Compared to just like an arena that you go to see basketball games. There's a little bit of a difference there. So that's why, even if it's just all like, oh, it's a fine arena, but we want an aesthetic upgrade, that's why.
I actually, so for the longest time, I agreed with Tay Place, even though it's an older arena. I think just overall, in terms of like how it's held up, it's not the arena's fault that it was built so aesthetically unpleasing. Um, so, but like just in terms of like, I never go in there and be like, man, this place is a dump or whatever. It's just kind of bland. So I always thought that way for a long time. Like in terms of just an arena, it's fine. But then I heard a lot of people arguing that, especially with how the Blazers have played recently, there's a lot of teams that aren't worth necessarily going to, and especially with the cost of tickets nowadays, and if you're trying to take a family there and stuff like that, you can't rely on it just being an arena that's good enough to watch basketball.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem with a lot of people with the Moda Center is when the product has stunk for several years, and so there's no reason to go watch the team play, and then there's nothing to do in the stadium or around the stadium,
Yeah.
especially for people with children taking them to the games.
Yeah.
So I do think renovations would be good, not necessarily for like the product or anything there, but just in terms of the experience of going to a game, improving that to the point where, oh, hey, the Blazers lost, but I really had fun doing this thing out on the concourse. That was a cool feature they added. And like I have a couple of kids who my mom has season tickets, and I mean, it would mean the world to her if my kids like wanted to go to more games with her and go, but they think it's boring to go to games, you know? And so how are you going to draw that like next generation of fans if your product sucks on the court?
Yeah.
And you have no like draw for kids to go to the game and watch a boring game where the Blazers lose, and you're watching like Keldon Blevins and stuff like that who aren't even good at basketball sometimes. So like I do think that the Moda Center is fine, but fine isn't good enough nowadays. I think you need to improve just the whole experience for the fans, and that is one thing that Tom has said that we know he thinks a lot about and wants to improve. Now, we can argue whether that should be with his money or because he owns the team or with our money, but it is something that I have started to agree with those people on, that improving the experience of the game would help bring in a lot more fans and ultimately more money for the city.
Yeah, and also concerned citizen in chat has a good point. So with the city owning the building, when it gets renovated, basically I'm kind of paraphrasing some of what they say and adding my own thoughts. Like when it gets renovated, you're more likely to get like shows or concerts or just events there in general, and the city profits off that. So it's not just the city putting $600 million into the arena just for Tom Dundon. Like there is benefits that come back to the city. There's a ton of economic activity with the arena, and then they also own the building, so other things that get booked. I don't know exactly how the profit shakes down, but that's the comment in chat. So that's where it sucks, but that's where I'm not like too mad about it. The team's ankle is kind of slimy for Dundon coming in and like, you guys help the city renovate this for us, but outside of that, it makes sense too.
Yeah, once again, I totally get, like, obviously, if you own the Blazers and you could push and get the city to pay for your renovations, you'd absolutely do that. That's how a lot of rich people get rich and stuff like that. Now the commercials on top of like sending out that email to the fans, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. That not only are they doing that, but now they're pushing, while we do this, please come like give us all your support behind it too. Like
Yeah.
just do it and get it over with, rip out the Band-Aid, but don't expect us to be like your soldiers fighting battles for you too. Like this sucks for us that we have to even think about losing our team potentially. Something that we've as Oregonians supported for 50 plus years, and are some of the best fans in the NBA in terms of attendance and supporting a team. So,
Have we been lately though?
I mean, it slips a little bit, but in terms of a small market, the attendance has still been pretty good, considering, like it hasn't fallen off like as much. You would think we'd be near the bottom in terms of attendance with how bad it's been the last few years, but yeah.
Shout out to Ben's Brawley $2 donation. Says glad my tweet was able to make you laugh last time. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. If you guys missed the last stream, you missed out. That was very funny. Thank you, Ben's. Shout out to MGJJ with a $10 donation. Says thanks for your great show. Things will get better going forward. Many things to look forward to. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just tired of the same things being issues, and it's like hearing a bunch of fans that are just like don't care about the team right now. And I can kind of tell when we go live after a win, like right now, I can just tell by the viewership how fans are feeling. Like at the start of the season, we're 5-3, and people are excited, and like people are like, "Oh, I might start watching this team again. They look different now." And we get 700 concurrent viewers in a post game, and then now this time of year, they beat the Bulls, and that stream was a little bit late, but even like the last win before that, and it's like not even 200, and it's there's always more excitement at the beginning of the season, so we've seen that pattern before, but I can kind of tell based off the viewership numbers, like you guys that are in here are the diehard fans, that are like real, even though they have their issues, we're on a Saturday afternoon. You guys are,
I guess it's not Saturday afternoon for a lot of people, but
yeah, but you guys are like plugged into the team. You guys are watching this game in a Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon if you're on the East Coast, and so appreciate you guys showing up. But like the people that aren't quite that level of invested, it's like with the way the team's playing right now, and they turn on the first quarter maybe and they see what that first quarter looked like, they're the type of people that just kind of start to tune out and not be as invested. So that's definitely a thing right now, and it sucks. But there is a lot of things to look forward to. I guarantee you those people will be watching heavily when Dame returns, if we have a play-in game, that sort of thing. Dundon around the corner. Who knows what happens this offseason? We have picks. Like, it's not like this organization is in a bad position in terms of the roster and the assets that they currently have. It's just the product on the floor has some major issues right now that is due to just some players making boneheaded decisions consistently the last month or so, as well as some coaching issues that I've seen that were coaching issues under Chauncey, and now they're coaching issues under Tiago. I mean, the offense has kind of been very stagnant and uncreative for 7 years now. Like at the end of Stotts' tenure, it was a major issue. Under Chauncey, it was a major issue. Under Tiago, it's been a major issue. So that's just where a lot of the frustration comes in with the offense. Is I'm tired of watching an offense like this, and then you go watch the Hornets and you see the way that they're moving and some of the stuff they're running. It's just like, why can't we do more? So I don't know who the next coach should be, but Mike Malone did some creative stuff. It's easy to be creative when you have Nikola Jokic, though. But Clingan can pass. So, can you bring in Mike Malone and tap into that? Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. But yeah, definitely need to improve things, but there is a lot to look forward to. Thank you for your donation.
I remember in 2018 when Dame got double teamed all the time, and our adjustment wasn't for the coaching staff to fix that. It was that Dame took it upon himself to like expand his range out to 30 feet so he could shoot threes. It's just ever since then we haven't had the most creative offenses. We were way too pick and roll heavy. Dame's last few years, and it worked for a little bit, but when it comes down to it, it's just too predictable, and a free flowing offense like they talked about doing is very unpredictable, and it's why it's hard to replicate, but teams like the Warriors have had a lot of success with it, and so the hope is that if you have a free flowing offense, the defense never knows where you're going to be or what you're going to do, and have to account for multiple people cutting. And it sounds great in theory, but when you go into a game and just stand around the whole game, it's just I don't understand how you can go from saying all that stuff to what we see on the floor.
Yep. Agreed. And then final donation. Do you want to read this one off? I'll be back. Alex continues his arena tour.
Yeah, Alex Wolf with a $2 donation says Kia Center down. He just went to Orlando a couple nights ago, and that's 13 of the 30 arenas he's gone to. And so, he had a good time. He said that it kind of seemed like it had a Moda Center vibe to it. The actual arena, he said, was nice, but there wasn't much to do in terms of like seeing stuff at the arena. And this is someone who now knows, being to so many different arenas, has a good comparison. I'd love for Alex to have some sort of ranking system, and I'm hopefully you're taking notes on each arena and can have like a journal or something when you're all done about comparing all of them. But it didn't sound like you were too impressed with the actual arena there, but that it was nice, but just didn't have a lot of things to do in the arena other than the game. But he saw a really good game. It was against the Rockets, and KD scored like 40, I think, in that one. So yeah. Thank you to Alex. And then Concerned Citizen had a good point too. He was talking about Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. He lowered the prices of concessions and made them affordable. And that is huge too, because like I know a lot of people that go to games and they don't buy anything at the games. They just like refuse to buy even a drink or popcorn or something. And let alone if you go with like a family of four or something and you're trying to, you have to buy everyone a drink and everyone a snack. That's not very, it's just not a good experience when you have to pay that much money. So the fact that several arenas have made it more affordable. I don't know if the Hawks' new stadium is like this, or arena, but I know their football stadium has cheap prices, and that just it's not the end all be all, but especially for like kids and people like that, it's so much more fun if you get to have a bunch of snacks and like I don't know, it's like a movie theater too. It's like the cost of food, popcorn, and soda. I mean, it's always been high at a movie theater, but like you go there, the tickets are super expensive now, and by the time you buy a popcorn and a drink for a couple people, and you're pushing $100, and it's a cool experience. But just think how much better it would be if the cost was a little more reasonable, and then you also got you got to eat some delicious snacks or some nice food. There's some good food options at the Moda Center, but it's not extremely affordable to eat out, especially for more than one person.
Yeah, my chicken nachos with the pineapple salsa from the Hawaiian place, that's my go-to, but it's like $19.
Yeah. I mean, 19, like, as prices ever have gotten more expensive, it's not that bad anymore, but it's still bad for like a soda or something. But
See, when they have new souvenir cups, I'm like, at least I get a cup out of this, you know?
Right.
Like, at least I could justify the purchase of a drink here with a cup. But they've had the same ones for a while now, so it's just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And as Call Me Juicy says, I don't know why I read that out loud. It's not like concessions make up a large percentage of the revenue, same as tickets. It's all TV deals and sponsorships. And that's the thing that I think is short-sighted sometimes. Like, think of how many more tickets they would sell or how many more concessions they would sell. It like balances out if it's more reasonable. So I never understand when companies make stuff so expensive and keep increasing prices because as we've seen with a lot of places now, this doesn't always work with things that are absolutely needed, like gas prices. They keep going up, or what if they keep going up, you know, most people are still going to pay it no matter what. Like, it sucks paying it, but people are going to have to drive. Blazers, we talked about, are the one team in town, but there is a point, I think, where you can start to turn off a lot of your audience and make it so like, well, why don't I just watch the game on TV? I can order food from this restaurant I like and watch the game at home and have just as fun of a time as going to the game and paying all the prices. And when you cross that line, that's when you might start to struggle. And a lot of times it's too late once you cross that line. So I do think people just think about that all the time and don't really consider, there is a point where you can maximize profits while not just keep on increasing the price of your product. And I think a lot of sports organizations and just businesses in general in life right now have crossed that line to where they've made it so expensive. It's just people are going to stop purchasing their products.
Yeah, no, that's all facts. All facts. Anyway, other players you want to talk about from this game? We haven't really gotten to players, but like, there's a Thibault provided a spark there in the second half. I mean, he had some good defensive plays.
Yeah, he had several good plays. Was pretty much the only one providing a spark in that half. I mean, other than him, I mean, he had some okay performances, but it was mostly poor performances from this team, I think.
Yeah, Krejci was super quiet today. Tied his high for minutes in a Blazer game. I guess because they couldn't make any threes, but like he could not get a clean look from three. This is where, dude, watching the way Brandon Miller was running off screens and like some of the motion. I do think Krejci would function better in a half court offense with more motion.
Well, Thiago said he would too, so you're not.
I thought Krejci, when he didn't foul, had some good defensive possessions, but had 6 fouls in 26 minutes. Some of those were ticky-tack as hell, though. Some of those were ridiculous to me, but
I do like, man, that guy's his like competitiveness. It's really jumping out.
The steal he had switching back to the quarter.
Yeah.
Just for Toumani to break a transition three, that pissed me off so much. Like, Vit has this defensive gem, just reads the play beautifully, steals the ball and saves it. And how do we pay it off? Toumani's just going to shoot a contested transition three and brick it.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that happened after that defensive play made me even more irritated by that shot.
Right.
God.
I forgot how much we were down there, but it felt like if we made that 3-2, like we possibly could have gotten back in this game.
Yeah, but just like transition, attack. Like, you can attack in transition. Not everything has to be a freaking three.
But no, I really don't want to talk about players anymore. Let's do Tankathon.
Do you want to talk about Lou Dort? Because somebody said thoughts on Dort. That was dirty as hell. That dude might be dirtier than Draymond.
I thought that same thing. Like, this, if Draymond did that, like,
yeah,
man, he's racking up the dirty things. And So obviously Jokic plays it up a little bit,
Yeah.
but I think he had every right to do it, and uh, to purposely stick out your leg like that,
Yeah.
there is no doubt. Like you can't justify it. You can't say, "Oh, we don't know his intent." It is 100%. He was
Yeah.
trying to injure Nikola Jokic, and there is absolutely no place in that. Tori, if he would have just squared up with him and punched him in the face, I would have been more fine with that than what he
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
because at least you're like fighting someone and doing that to try and trip someone. And I don't care if it was like kind of half-assed or whatever, like it wasn't
He has a
like
history of trying
a
to trip
clear
people.
trip or whatever. When you are standing there and purposely stick out your back leg too, like it wasn't even like you were turning towards him or anything, you turned your leg purposely towards him, that is as dirty as it gets. I mean, the only other dirtier thing in my opinion is like when you go under someone in the air.
Oh, like he
But
did to John Morant?
yeah, exactly. So now he's racking up these dirty plays, and to me, what, he got suspended 10 games or something?
Who?
Is that, did he get suspended?
Dort?
Yeah.
I don't
Or
think
yeah,
so.
they announced it. Oh, okay. Um, I don't know. I think he should get suspended.
Yeah.
And uh, dude, I don't know how, because what's weird is like Jokic, he gets into him, but then like Dort kind of gets away from the pile and is just standing there. I would have, if I was one of Jokic's teammates, I would have gone after Dort. I know Dort's a scary guy, but like
You need
I would've went
James
after
Johnson on the bench as your 15th
Yeah.
roster spot. He can get suspended for some games running off the bench. You know what I mean? Like,
But the NBA absolutely has to put the hammer down on this and
yeah.
I mean, they should suspend him and say, next dirty thing, you're out for the rest of the season. Like, I just, there's no place for this kind of crap in the NBA. And I said, I'm fine with fighting. Do what you want to do if you're mad at someone. But
I wish they would
dirty,
fight a little more. And, like,
yeah,
straight
yeah.
up fight a guy. Don't try and injure a guy, you know? Like, yeah. Dort, I want to see Dort try and fight Jokic. The thing is, he wouldn't try and fight Jokic. Jokic got in his face, and he was not trying to fight him. But you know what's funny? You know what's funny? Sorry, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
No, you got it.
Oh, so I was telling my girlfriend, like, she hadn't heard of the name Lou Dort, but I was like, she saw the fight. I was like, did you see what happened that led to the fight? She's like, no. And I showed her the play, and like, oh yeah, that's dirty. I'm like, yeah, this guy is super super dirty. Like, does this stuff all the time. And she's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. Let me find a YouTube compilation of plays. And I went and found a YouTube compilation of plays. It was so funny to me because she had never like heard the name, but we were watching the plays and she's like, "Oh, I've seen that before. That's him. Oh, I've seen that play before. That's also him. Oh, all these plays were him. Like all these dirty plays. Like yeah." I just thought that was funny because she like didn't recognize the name, but she like recognized the dirty plays and stuff. So I mean that's how you know. Like when people don't even know who you are, but know of all your dirty plays. Yeah, you're a dirty player. Dirty player. So, but that was funny to me.
And to be fair, Jokic has had his fair share of dirty plays too, in my opinion. But including, there was in that playoff series in 2019, there was a free throw. It wasn't even on a, like he just like steps to the side and elbows Enes Kanter right in his shoulder. That was hurting at the time. And yeah, I don't know. So he's not the cleanest player either, but man, yeah, that's just dirty play. Just like I said, just square up and try to fight him if you want to fight him. And you're going to get suspended for longer probably now than you would have if you just fought him.
Consistency is you could tell who has never been in a fight thinking Jokic is going to win every fight. I don't know. That dude's from A, he's from Serbia. B, he has big ass brothers see he's just a big dude. I think
that's not
all
him,
those
what is it?
things kind of go into expecting him to be able to throw some hands a little bit. You know what I mean? Obviously we don't know, but everything equal, I'm gonna take the 7-foot guy over the 6'3" guy. You know, and Dort, I don't know. Dort seems like a fake fighter to me, man. Like he'll grab the 19-year-old point guard at the buzzer against the Pelicans for no freaking reason and grab his jersey and like try and lift him off the ground and be all tough. But Jokic steps to him, he ain't reacting the same way. So, anyway, he's lame. I
don't know.
If he was on the Blazers pulling that stuff, I would be so pissed on postgame shows about that. Yeah.
That's funny. I also thought that same thing. I was like, imagine if like Toumani or someone did that. Like, I would be embarrassed as a Blazer fan that happened. Yeah. And I saw some Thunder fans like, oh yeah, like obviously don't do that, but Jokic completely just acted there. He barely got touched or whatever, and that's not the point in my opinion.
Yeah, even though it's kind of a similar, like you can step weird. He fell, maybe he acted weird. But like when somebody does that to you, you can step weird. You can tear an ACL. Vince Williams just did that running with Tari Eason in transition, where Tari Eason leaned into him and knocked him a little off balance, and he tore his ACL. So you just don't do that when somebody's running down the floor.
Tari didn't just lean into him; he went out of his way to run into him where he wasn't even like running on a fast break. Like he just like veered off course to hit him.
Yeah. You know, like those weren't identical plays, but it's just why you don't do stuff like that. That's how you can get hurt. So, anyway, we got a Jokic hater in chat. Jokic hater in chat, but I mean, okay, we can talk about other plays that Jokic shouldn't have made, but Dort has a history of this, and Dort's a dirty player. Do you agree? Anyway, Tankathon. After I'm done coughing. Try not to cough on stream. Alright, where's Tankathon? There we go. Yeah, there's really nobody else from this game I want to talk about. We kind of touched upon everybody here and there throughout this thing. The Blazers have 12th best odds. They are 29-32. They're only 7 games out of 7th. I don't know, man. They're actually 10th is gettable. You know, if Giannis returns, the Clippers pass the Blazers. You know, you could work your way up to 10th. Right where we were last year. Love it. All right, let's simulate this and see if the Blazers get lucky today. 14 is Charlotte. 13 is San Antonio v. Atlanta. 12 is your Portland Trail Blazers. 11 is OKC. 10 is Milwaukee. 9 is Chicago. 8 is Memphis. 7 is Dallas. 6 is Utah, and 5 is Washington. Boring Tankathon sim. 4 is Sacramento, 3 is Brooklyn, 2 is Indiana, and 1 is Atlanta via New Orleans. Only 3 teams moved, which means we're going to resim it for the fun. Still boring. Anyway, that's Tankathon.
Tempting the fate.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see OKC to jump up into number 1 because I was tempting the fate, and that's what happens. So, did they play Sissoko in the second half before garbage time?
I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, thank goodness, because he came in this game and immediately you talked about some of the plays, but like, dude, you don't have to force feed him minutes.
Yeah,
picked up a foul, had 2 missed shots. Like, you don't need to force feed him minutes. I do like that they played Krejci more. I guess they listened to the other post-game show, which had that idea from our guy Ben Zbrali. So, you know, shout out to that.
Via
Krejci, yeah, because Krejci played 26 minutes today. Chris only played 17, Sissoko played 7. Chris had like a putback early in this game, but dude, he had that one good game. He had that one good game against Minnesota. Outside of that, he has been freaking brutal since returning.
Yep.
He's been brutal. He just doesn't do anything, and he can't shoot. He is not athletic. They need to replace that role next year. Like, just imagine if you had somebody that could shoot and do a little bit of, like, create shots a little bit in that spot. Would help this offense a lot. So.
It would.
And then Sissoko can be your Chris Murray role instead of both of them having to be a Chris Murray role. I don't even remember what bucket Young got. Oh, on the putback lay, and it was a goal 10.
Yeah, it was a goal 10. Yep.
Blake Wesley played 11 minutes. They tried to insert him for some energy. He and Thibault kind of got the Blazers back into this game with their energy there in the second half, but the offense couldn't sustain. Clingan, 3 for 6, 1 for 2 from 3, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He did a really good job protecting the rim today. When our offense is this bad, he needs to be featured more. When you have Toumani Camara and Chris Murray in your starting lineup, like, Clingan's the third option there. He should not only be shooting 6 shots in 26 minutes. But, like, they're defending his pick and pop.
Mm.
But you just, if he has the ball at the top of the arc, especially off a pop, you need movement. Like, if they run a pick and pop and the center closes out on him hard, he's not somebody that's going to, like, attack closeouts, but it should flow into, like, off-ball action and cutters and movement. And I just hope whatever coach... I'm getting more interested in the idea of Mike Malone to try and tap into Donovan Clingan. Mike Malone is the head coach of this team next year to try and tap into Donovan Clingan and his passing ability and ability to knock down threes and have an offense that, you know, obviously it'd be a little different than one that's run through Jokic, and I'm sure Mike Malone wouldn't coach it in the same exact way, but I would trust him to, like, find ways to get the most out of Donovan.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Definitely think he should be someone they look into.
Yeah. Anyway, that's everything that I wanted to talk about. Anything else, Eric?
No, thanks to everyone who tuned in this afternoon. Hope you have a good rest of your Saturday. Blazers right back in action tomorrow afternoon.
Yay.
West Coast time, 3 o'clock against the Hawks. The Hawks are kind of hit or miss, but this, unlike the game today, this should be a game the Blazers need to be competitive in. And, I mean, if you lose this one, could get a little rough, but hopefully they can take care of business.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed. We'll see. But Blazers lose. Since the All-Star break, it's been lose, win, lose, win, lose. Before the All-Star break, it was like that. So, yeah. I guess we should expect a win tomorrow? I don't know. But we got to start figuring out a way to win some basketball games, man. We'll see if Denny plays because he was doubtful today, but I don't know. I want him to be 100%. I miss having Denny Avdia at 100%. That was so much fun. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, way back in the day when he was 100%. Leave a like on the stream. Subscribe if you're new. Appreciate you guys tuning in, making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. We'll catch you tomorrow after the Blazers take on Atlanta. Hopefully they have better luck. Hopefully they can make some shots and run some freaking offense and not do the dumb crap they did today. Anyway, we're out of here. Have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.